Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
This Three Beards Media podcast may contain mature themes, and if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Like the podcast. Nailed it!
Would you like to sample some of my nuts? Alrighty, here we are. We are live from Revelton Distilling Company. We brought the AKC Andrew Downs Marketing Studios on location. Of course, sponsored primarily by Revelton Distilling Company. What's up? And Dan Douglas at Green Bay Realty. I am super excited. We're down here on a Friday night, hanging out at the tasting room. I've got a plethora of guests tonight. This is what happens when we get rid of Aaron. We get the good guests on.
Yeah.
To my left here is Jason Norton. He's host of Drinks with Jason on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And then, of course, the owner and operators of Revelton Distilling Company, Rob and Christy Taylor, and lifelong friends. I think, over 30 years, that counts, right?
Yeah, since like
Definitely.
freshman year of high school.
Freshman year of high school, yes.
No stories
So more
tonight.
than 30 years. But
Yes,
we won't
no
count.
stories. Right. So appreciate you guys logging in, catching us. We're going to just kind of talk a little bit about what's going on in our lives. We'll talk a little bit about Jason and where he started. And kind of go from there. But let's. I think everybody is kind of well aware of Rob and Christy. Let's start with Jason. Jason Norton, Drinks with Jason. So I've stumbled upon your page. It's fairly hysterical. Your T-shirts are hilarious. But as we always do here on Old Man's Drink, we like to start from the beginning. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you grew up and where you're from?
I grew up in southwest Iowa, Stanton. Lived there until I turned 18, then moved over to South Central Iowa, Murray. Lived around there for about 20 years, and then moved up to the Des Moines area where I live now. Lifelong Iowan, love the state, hate the winters.
Amen.
Who doesn't?
Hate the winters, yeah.
Right, I'm with you.
It gets old quick, faster the older I get, and that's pretty much it. Started this about 2.5 years ago, I suppose. I saw a video on TikTok where they put Busch Light and Captain Morgan together. The guy said it tasted like chocolate milk. Tried that, didn't taste anything like chocolate milk. But and then just kind of snowballed from there. My brother-in-law sent me a few drinks. A friend of mine said, "Hey, you need to put those on Facebook Reels." And that's when it really kind of took off.
And
so.
you stopped and went, what's a Facebook reel?
Exactly. That's
did.
exactly what I did.
Only because I know we've talked a little bit about, like, when
Yeah.
we first wanted to do this, you were like, well, I'm not really sure. I don't have a laptop. I don't have this. And I was like, the dude's got amazing content or whatever. He clearly is off the fly.
No, totally off the cuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what a Facebook reel was. It's like, oh, it's those videos on Facebook. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, well, how do I download this stuff? It's like, okay, I figured it out. And it just kind of blew up.
Downloading just appropriate stuff.
Right, yeah.
All appropriate things.
Yeah, as appropriate as appropriate as you can get on Facebook. But and it just kind of took off. So I didn't expect it to go over. I think I'm pushing close to 600,000 followers now on all of my platforms and all the pages, which is crazy to me.
Surreal, right?
Oh, it's why would anybody want to watch just me. It's nothing special.
No, but I think it's fun and it's kind of wholesome, and in this time, in this environment, that's what people kind of need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess it's more authentic than anything. It's just I got my friends. I go, people come up to them. It's like, is he really like that? It's like, yeah, that's Jason. It's like it's nothing special. It's just him, and I think that's kind of the appeal. I'm just kind of an authentic, everyday guy. I'm not one of these bougie kind of whiskey connoisseurs that, it tastes like oak and all this. No, it's just, it's good, it's bad, whatever.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I've been down here before.
I'll be like,
I taste a hint of oak, and I was like, after my tongue is done burning off, maybe on the second or third.
You had some good stuff.
I did. No. But I'm saying at the beginning, like it's hard to understand what you're looking for.
Smells like Italian leather just because it's expensive, right?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And there's something to that. You have to get a taste for the whiskey, because 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I owned legit like 3 bottles of spirits, 3 bottles of liquor.
Yeah.
I was strictly a domestic beer guy. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into some stuff, and then I started trying, and it's like, okay, yeah, I taste the caramel, I taste the cotton candy, I taste the oak a little bit, which I don't care for. I like the sweeter stuff. Yeah. But I'm starting to get that sort of stuff now. And over time, you drink enough of the stuff, and you kind of get a taste for the notes.
Right.
You pick that stuff up.
So you kind of relate a little bit in that I've always admired people that just went out and tried to do something that they've never done before, and it was completely foreign to them or whatever. You with this show, you guys starting a distillery. I've asked you before when Christy's not here, but I'll ask now that Christy's here.
We'll see if the answer's the same.
You go to Christy and say, I'm thinking about opening up a distillery. Her reaction is what?
Well, in our case, this was something that we did together. I mean, we started going down to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in Bardstown, Kentucky in 2012 for something that we thought we wanted to do together. And very similar to you, when we went down in 2012, we weren't whiskey drinkers at all. We're beer and wine type of people. And, when you start getting a taste and a flavor palette for beers and wines, I mean, I can't think of anybody other than maybe a Busch Light drinker, which I'm not, who picks up their very first beer and it's like it's their favorite forever. I mean, you grow into those different flavors in your own palate. And so to answer your question, Chris, when we went down in 2012, we didn't like whiskey at the time. We didn't know a lot about whiskey. We didn't even know how to drink whiskey. And after going down every year, annually for about 3 years, we fell in love with it, learned the different whiskeys and bourbons that we liked, and then decided, hey, why don't we start a distillery together? So it wasn't me having to go to Christy and ask permission or vice versa. We jumped into this headlong together. And that's been part of the coolest thing about what we've done. So
that's awesome.
We both live vastly different lives in our professional lives up until this, and to be able to come together and start a distillery and not only do bourbons and whiskeys, but of course you guys know Christy is the gin distiller.
The Mulberry Gin is fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's got to be your best product. I mean, I know you guys are proud of everything, but that is nothing like it on the market that I know of.
It's been the runaway hit,
and
right?
Yeah, everybody that I know that buys it just absolutely raves about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, and we're leaning into that. I mean, we're totally leaning into, people love the Mulberry Gin. There's nothing like it. It's easy to drink. I mean, you can do complicated fancy drinks, or you can put it over ice with soda, or Sprite, or lemonade. Or you can put ginger beer and make a mule, which is, is the number one selling cocktail in Des Moines this summer.
Which is wonderful.
Right.
Wonderful.
So super easy, or you can go complex, and people love it. So we're totally leaning in and taking Mulberry Gin to other states.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere we go. People that don't know us, I'll give you an example. Last week, so the cool thing about Jason and I, we both come from the trades. So I'm a former diesel mechanic, and he's in the trades too. And for a couple Southern Iowa farm boys that are in the trades, I feel like this is kind of pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I go out to my shop the other day, and my snap-on electric screwdriver doesn't work. So can't get batteries for it anymore, imagine that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to let my snap-on guy upgrade me to the next screwdriver. So I went to Interstate Battery on 8th Street in West Des Moines, And I walked in and I said, hey, can you guys make me a couple batteries for my Snap-on screwdriver? And he was like, yeah, no problem at all. He goes, what's the name? And I said, I'll put it under Revelton Distilling Company. And he goes, this is the battery guy at Interstate Battery. And he looks up and he goes, we love your mulberry gin. And we were at Costco the other day and checking out, and somebody next to us had mulberry gin, and the checkout lady was like, love that stuff, love that mulberry gin. Didn't even know who we were.
Yeah.
So I thought
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It's almost a little surreal.
Yeah.
I mean, you start something and then, your neighbors and your friends and the people in Iowa are great about supporting local, but people in other states and parts of the state that they don't even know we're local, and they all love it and want to get it. So it's become a little surreal in that sense.
Yep. It's crazy when people recognize the product that you have and don't recognize you. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That is cool.
And the first time I was recognized in public, it's again surreal.
It's surreal.
It's
It
weird.
is.
I was waiting in line to get into Texas Roadhouse, and the guy slowed down. We were standing outside talking to me and Amanda and her son and her son's wife. We're standing outside talking, and a car drove by like super, super slow, just staring at us. And I'm like, who the heck is this guy? And I'm like, Colton, you know that guy? And Colton looked around. I was like, no, I don't know him. And then he drove by again, and I was like, what the heck? And I was like, your drinks with Jason. I'm like, oh, geez whiz.
Your first stalker.
My first stalker, yeah. And it was crazy.
We were in Vegas in 2021 for the Iowa State UNLV game, and we were outside the Pyramid Hotel and big beer garden, and I'm waiting in line to get beer. And Stacy's standing next to me, and there's a guy over in the other line. He's got this Iowa State Hawaiian shirt on with his chest hair hanging out, big bushy beard, and he just keeps going and waving at me. And Stacy goes, "Who's that?" And I go, "I don't fucking know who that is. I have no idea."
Yeah.
Pretty soon he walks over. He goes, "You're Chris, right? From Old Man Strength or whatever. I follow you on Twitter." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "I'm not gonna lie, that's creepy." But to the same point, like whatever you guys do, whatever we do, it's touching somebody, I think, everywhere, and it's nice to get that feedback. That, especially for myself, what we do here, we try to do a lot of good. We try to do some charity. We try to put out a positive message. That was one of Stacy's big thing when I told her I wanted to do this. She's like, "I don't care what you do. I just don't want you to be one of those guys that bitches and moans on the radio all the time."
Yeah.
Like, I want something to hear to be positive, and that's what we've kind of focused on, and it's been great. I've felt a lot better about that.
Yeah, and it's been Christy and I's philosophy, and in your all of your podcasts and stuff. Yeah, I mean, you kind of elbow people sometimes, and we talk lightheartedly, but at the end of the day, we're all glass half full people. We have a positive message, and
Absolutely.
Just pissing and moaning drives. It doesn't solve any problems.
No.
You just piss and moan.
No. You need another reason I started this stuff is just you need a release just to have fun. It's just for fun. Just having a good time. I try not to dabble in the politics stuff. And if things get real negative,
I'd like you to
open a
repeat that
distillery.
and put that as a dictate, to him. I try not to dabble.
I try not to.
Try not to dab.
Try not
That's
to
a
dabble.
T-shirt, people.
I try not to dabble. But we're just here to have fun. This is a release, especially what I do. It's just like tune in. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, you get a drink idea, fantastic. If you want to laugh at me, that's great. His T-shirt's it is funny, cool. And just relaxing and just.
It's actually very satisfying to know that you made somebody smile.
Yes.
You just made somebody smile,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And that's what some of us are here to do, to say, I helped make somebody's day better today.
And
Even if it was a laugh, that's perfect. Please do.
Yep.
Please laugh at me all day long.
Yep.
And before I go to bed every night, Christy looks at me and she smiles and she goes, "What a goof."
Yeah.
And at least I made her laugh, right?
That's right.
She looks at you and laughs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I always say
good thing.
it costs nothing to be kind.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And these last 4 years specifically, 4 years, I've really turned it around in that I'm going to be friends with the people that I want to be friends with, and I'm going to enjoy the people I want to be friends with, and the last thing I'm going to let is a politician affect my everyday life. Just I'm not going to do it. So
Right.
let's flip it around. Let's ask a little fun question. This kind of mixes into both of you guys. worst drink concoction you've had to drink, and worst thing that you've sat behind the bar and tried to come up with, and you thought, this is not good?
Jason goes first.
I go first? It's easy. It's easy. I forget who even brought this up to me, but it was equal parts Malort. If you've ever tried Malort,
Well,
it's
that's
the
your
Chicago
first.
thing.
Yeah, that's your
Stepped
first.
in what?
That's exactly what it kind of tastes like. Malort, Sambuca, and absinthe.
Ooh,
No.
Yep.
No.
So if you don't know, Sambuca and absinthe kind of taste like black licorice.
Both
Yeah.
of them.
Both of
Okay.
them,
Both
like
of
a
them.
lot, and I
Yes.
cannot stand
Amen,
either of
brother.
So
those.
they doubled down on that.
Yeah, yes. And then Malort tastes like nothing you'll ever. I can't even describe it. I can't even describe the flavor. But it was like rotten flesh, kerosene, and sawdust.
Oh man.
Those are the
That's
taste notes I
incredibly
get.
descriptive.
Yeah, I
right.
mean that's.
I always wonder
But
how
save
you
my
know
whiskey
what that
taste
tastes
funny.
like already.
But
I know, right?
what's crazy is I've had enough shots of just plain Malort that I'm on the back of the bottle it says like grapefruit notes. I'm almost getting
No.
the grapefruit notes out of it now. Believe it or not.
You've tried it more than
I've
once.
tried. I bought a bottle of that stuff, thinking maybe I'll have 2 or maybe 3 drinks total, and it's 3/4 of the way gone.
So I will say, early on, and when I started following you, I sent something to Marcus, our friend Marcus,
Yeah.
to send to you, which was peanut butter whiskey and Red Bull, and I told you it tasted like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I remember you tried it, and it was the absolute one of the worst things you'd ever
Yeah,
drank.
you're like,
And I was
I'm
like,
not gonna lie.
yeah,
this
I've never
was-
really drank it. I just wanted to see if somebody would do it.
And I'm sure I've got quite a few of those too. But yeah,
Right.
there's one called a Tour to Germany, and this was before the Malort, and this was my worst before that. But it was Goldschlager, Jägermeister.
Oh, I was going to say my worst is anything with Jaeger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Goldschlager, Jaeger,
yeah.
and oh gee whiz, I don't remember the third one. But it was horrendous too. I should.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah.
So bad you
Taste bad
blocked
going
it
down
out of your
and worse
memory.
coming
You
up.
Yeah.
blocked it
it's-
out of your memory. It's so bad.
Now, interesting, the same company that makes Jägermeister makes a really good honey liqueur that is
Jaeger.
Really?
Jaeger.
And it's
Yes.
good.
Incredible.
Yes.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have
Yeah.
a bottle of that in
We
the
want-
back.
We have one of the old bottles where the top of it was like a honeycomb.
Yep.
Yeah, the little
Yep.
hive. Yeah, right. Yeah, I've kept the bottle with the top because they don't do those anymore, and I just like it. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, that's
It
the
makes
bottle
me
I got
smile.
too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Well, I'll let you guys think, and I will tell mine. Actually, not one I made, but one of the first bars I went to, I had heard all my friends talking about this thing called a cement mixer, and it's Bailey's Irish Cream and lime juice,
Yep.
and it basically turns into an ice cream solid into your mouth.
Yep.
Yep.
And I bought 2 shots of that for me and my buddy. We were at the bar, and my buddy was like, "I'm not drinking that," and I was like, "I'll drink it." So I took 2 shots. And I proceeded to play pool the rest of the night and drink Bud Light for, 3 hours. And got home, woke up the next morning and was so violently sick that I threw up for probably 2 hours straight. I was going to school and living at my parents' house. And for 45 minutes, I was dry heaving in the bathroom. To the
Yeah.
point where my mom was knocking on the door like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And she went down to my dad and said, and met my dad, and my dad said, she goes, "Honey, I think Chris is really sick," and goes, "Goddamn right he is. He went out drinking all night last night."
That would be your dad.
And
Or
all of a
yeah,
sudden,
I would have said he's fine.
or all of a
He's
sudden,
fine.
Mom's banging on the door, going, I hope you like it, you selfish. I'm over here all worried about you." And well, needless to say, for 45 minutes, I was dry heaving trying to throw up that cement mixer. I threw up so bad, I had 2 broken,
Oh, yeah.
two
Holy cow.
black
Blood
eyes
vessels?
from the blood
Even-
vessels, and
oh,
I
my
went to
Lord.
work the next day with the guy I went out to, and he was like, "Did your dad punch your lights out last night or something?" And I was like,
We used to call
So-
that the Captain Caveman barfing.
"Oh,
You just-
jeez,
you
yeah."
Yep.
Holler
You just
it out.
you
My
can't get
sister
enough
used
of it
to
out.
call it selling Buicks.
Oh yeah, yeah, selling Buicks.
So
For me, as far as drinks, I mean, I'm not a mixologist. That's Christie's arena. But for me, on my end, because I'm on the distillation side of the business. I mean, I'm tasting off the still all the time, and you'd be you really would be surprised or impressed how many people off the street knock on our back door during the day and say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a distillery and I've been making some hooch at home. Taste this.
No.
And there's been a couple people that have made some really good stuff, and there's been several people that have brought in stuff that is not good at all.
My coat. Sorry.
Even worse. That's okay. Even worse, what we have is what's really hard to be diplomatic is we do some contract distillation for distilleries all over the U.S. So we'll have people that will come in and will meet with us and say, hey, this is the stuff that I've made and I want you to emulate it. And then you want to taste it. And they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't want to say because
That's
what
a
do you
hard
say?
one.
I mean, you've not only called the baby ugly, but the wife.
Are you looking for external validation or
I've had somebody send me some stuff through other friends, and I'm like, hey, try it. This is the stuff I make this all the time. It's really, really good. And I try it, like, ooh, man, I would have to mix this with a whole lot of stuff to make this taste anywhere close to good.
Here's the cool thing about this is that every Saturday and Sunday, Christy and I do tours down here at Revelton, and I mean we have people from all over that come in, and many times half those people have never had whiskey in their life. They want a vodka and soda or something that's not whiskey related. And one of the things that Christy and I both say to people when we start the tour is, look, and I mean this sincerely in the fact that if you're a person that says that you don't like whiskey, the truth of the matter is that all of us have different flavor palettes. Mm-hmm. And for you to say that you don't like whiskey, the reality of the situation is you haven't had enough different whiskeys to discover what your own taste palette is and how you like it or you don't like it. Do you like it neat? Do you like it on the rocks? Do you like it with a little bit of water? Do you like it at different proofs? And the cool thing is many of the people that come through here, they taste off the still on our tour and they come up here, walked in with a preconceived notion of, man, I don't like whiskey. And they walked out and went, I think I might try some whiskey. So it's in this whole discovery path of people discovering their own taste palettes and what they like and what they don't like. And one of the things that we try and do here that's unique, different than a lot of other distilleries, big and small, is, and wineries do this a lot, is when you do a tour, they'll tell you what it is that you're supposed to taste. That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So what we do many times when we do the tour, or even when Christy does tastings up here in the tasting room, we don't tell people what it should taste like. We let them
apricot and cherry,
and
pencil
leather,
eraser, and
leather and tobacco. I'm like, I don't like the taste of tobacco, or I've never tasted leather, so right.
Yeah,
leather especially.
What are you doing tonight, honey? He's sucking on a piece of leather.
Yeah,
really. Yeah.
But
what about you? Your worst.
cocktail.
What's something that you? Yeah. Oh, this will be a hit. Oh, never mind.
Oh gosh. I mean, truly, not to bash on Jaeger, but anything with Jaeger is, I just can't make it taste good.
I refuse to drink it. Like it does not. I've heard enough bad stories.
Stuff to make it.
Malort as well. I've never tried. Just never crossed.
Don't. I mean, if you want to, I have a whole bottle or a half a bottle.
I'll pass.
But I used to drink back in my 20s, 20 plus years ago. When I would go out, it was a Budweiser and a bottle of Bud Light and a shot of Jaeger.
Yeah, right.
That's how I started the night. And then I'd mix in a Jaeger bomb every once in a while. I would drink Jaeger like I would sit down and drink some of your rye whiskey. Here's some ice, fill up the cocktail glass and sip on it and watch TV.
Right.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. Just cannot do it.
You think they're kind of in the same category, but I would say it's the next gen or the better version of it. What I really do like is various Amaros. There's some really incredible. So they're going to be your earthy herbal. It's a variety of spirits. What? Sir, you'll drink them in drinks.
I sure will in front of you. Yes, I will.
Yes.
No.
They're wonderful.
There's some very good ones.
But here's the cool thing about us is that we have such I like hot and spicy stuff. Christy can't even do, like I told you earlier, she can't even do black pepper on her food. So when it comes to when we're experimenting and potentially making a new product, or if I go out and pull barrels for a potential barrel pick, when I bring it in, and if her and I taste it, we both like it, beautiful things usually happen because our taste palates are so vastly different that we know that for the most part, if we then release it to the public, that people will like it.
Right.
It's both a blessing and a curse.
So let me ask you, and maybe you were in the same boat when you were learning, and I'm obviously still learning and things like that. I see things like single barrel. I see things like barrel pick. Tell the viewers what are those? What do those definitions mean? And what does that mean?
Sure. Well, let's start with single barrel. Like all of our bourbon in Iowa, Nebraska, and Missouri, and Kansas now is all single barrel bourbon. So what that means is that when you pick up a bottle and it says single barrel, that means that all of the bottles came out of one barrel.
Okay.
Is what that means.
Okay.
They haven't mixed the whiskey with any
It's not
whiskey
been
from
blended.
other barrels.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what single barrel bourbon means.
Now, is that normal? Like, do other people they like put it in another barrel and let it age differently, or is that's where I'm lost?
Most
here.
whiskeys on the market are blended, so they'll take a variety of barrels, potentially
see.
even from a variety of years.
Okay.
4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, they will blend it to get a consistency of
I
flavor.
got you.
Frankly, the majority of the whiskey that we buy on the shelf, the majority of it's
Is
blended.
blended.
And
Okay.
it's good stuff. I mean, we have favorites that we like, and it's blended whiskey. It's fantastic. But then you go into single batch, meaning
Okay.
everything bottled here came out of one single batch. It might be 6 barrels, but all one batch. And then you go down even further to single barrel. So
Okay.
not just one batch, but one barrel.
Okay.
Then there's some confusing terms out there like, so on single barrel, for example, at Revelton, we did something very different than what a lot of other distilleries do. A lot of distilleries will blend all their stuff together and they'll put many barrels together, sometimes 100 or more, and bigger distilleries, sometimes 1,000 or more, and come out with a common flavor profile. What we know is based upon our mash bill and the consistency of the barrel that we use, Kelvin Cooperage in Louisville, Kentucky, we know that there are some common notes that Christy and I both look for in our whiskey. So if they meet those common notes, what we do is that we then bring that barrel in and then we proof it down and we get a common flavor profile based upon what the proof is in that barrel instead of trying to blend it to try and get a common flavor palette and then come out at a common proof. So all the single barrel bourbon that we're introducing in the state of Iowa right now is between 90 and 94 proof. So it's not always the same proof.
Sure.
Because we want to make sure that we get the flavor profile that we want out of our bourbon based upon the proof instead of trying to blend a whole bunch of different barrels. It's just a different way to go about doing things.
Yep.
But most distilleries will introduce a single barrel product down the road instead of from the beginning. We did the opposite. We offered a single barrel at the beginning, and then down the road we might do a blend of different bourbons, or another term that's used commonly out there is small batch. That's a very confusing term because
Well, it doesn't mean anything.
it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't.
There's no definition.
It has
of
to be
small batch.
under a certain amount of barrels to be a small batch.
Not really.
No.
That doesn't even have that
I
definition.
thought it was
So
under.
there's no definition. It's whatever they decide to call it.
It looks good.
It looks
Yeah.
good.
It
Right.
looks good.
It's a
It sounds
marketing
good.
ploy.
It's like handcrafted. What does that
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tito's and
Right.
handcrafted, they've actually been challenged, and
Well,
you know
they
what?
used to be.
Yeah. So it's made by hand. Great. What does that mean? Blended. Blended is you've blended a number of different barrels of whiskey or bourbon, and then there's certain rules behind blending that if you put an age statement on your barrel, it has to be the youngest whiskey that you blended with. So even if you had
So
like
even
a 10-year-old whiskey with a 4-year-old whiskey, and you put those two together,
It's a
4-year-old
four-year-old
whiskey.
4-year-old
That's
whiskey.
that. Okay.
The age statement matches the youngest thing in it.
So when
Yep.
you decided to do single barrel, that was a conscious decision. Why was
Yes.
that a conscious decision to do it that way?
Because usually single barrel means that you've taken the time
Which I know you have.
and introduced a product that you're proud of.
Right. Okay.
We chose to go special first. You know, some people do kind of average up front, save the special for later. We wanted special to be the first thing.
Well, and I think, and this is not me just blowing smoke, this is an honest statement. I think what I admired about you guys when it came to your bourbon is there were a lot of times where you probably could have released it. But your decision was, I want to release it when I know it's right and when I know it's ready. A lot of people would have just released it because they wanted to get that one more thing onto the market.
Yep.
You guys didn't do that.
Yeah, we could have released our bourbon at 2 years and a day.
Yes.
So 2
Yeah, because I
years
remember that because I had it marked
Yeah.
on my calendar.
And it's pretty.
as a young growing, small family business,
That's what
2
I mean,
years
yeah.
earlier
Yes.
would have been great for cash
Sure,
flow and
absolutely.
good
Sure.
for the business.
Right.
But it was decent. It was okay. I mean, it would have been all right, but it wasn't special.
Right.
So we were like, it's decent, it's all right. We wouldn't be embarrassed by it, but it's not good enough.
This is what
So
we
waited
promised
till
our
it was special.
consumers, and we have a handful of shareholders that invested in our business when we first started, and we had investors and potential consumers that said, "How do I know your stuff's going to be good?" And I said, "You don't. But what I'll promise you is that we won't release a bad product. Period. If it's bad, we will not release it." And they went, "Okay." And everything that we brought to market. I mean, Jason, you didn't used to like rye whiskey, and then all of a
Nope.
sudden you come across our rye whiskey.
I heard so many bad things about, well, bad, I say bad, but things that don't appeal me to, doesn't appeal me to whiskey. I can't, whatever. I heard everything about rye whiskey. It's peppery, it's harsh on the backside, and that's not what I look for in a whiskey. I want it smooth. I like a little sweeter flavor to it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I came down here to the, when you released
To
it,
the launch?
to the
Yeah,
release.
Last year.
Yep, and I was like, I didn't have high hopes. I really didn't, but it's local, so I wanted to support it. All right, cool. And they said, hey, you want a sample of this stuff? And Amanda was standing right next to me, and I was like, okay.
Suck it up, man.
That's what I was like, okay.
We drove all the way down here.
I know. I was
Yeah.
like, let me try it. And I poured that, and that caramel just popped, and I'm like, holy hell. And I looked at Amanda, it's like, this is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I've loved this stuff ever since. Yeah, so I was scared about the rye until I tried it.
I was scared about the rye when we made it
Yeah.
because
You just don't know.
I'm a bourbon
Don't
guy,
know.
and the only upper Midwest whiskey that we had to compare was Templeton Rye, and nothing against Templeton Rye. If you like hot and spicy, it's good, but it's in their barrel 7 or 8 years. And another thing that we did different at Rebelton, rarely does a craft distillery introduce their rye before their bourbon.
Sure.
It's usually bourbon and then rye sometime down the road. And we did just the opposite because, quite honestly, our rye was ready
It was
before
ready.
our bourbon. And
Yeah.
we developed a mash bill that was a combination of rye and corn that developed that sweet and mellow flavor that upper Midwesterners really, really like. And
So that 5% corn, big difference. I mean, just huge. Rather rye barley versus rye corn. It just turned the flavor.
I remember I got my first deep dive into rye. I came down to talk to Rob about some business stuff or whatever, and he pulled a bottle out, and we had probably 2 or 3 drinks. And I was
Probably 2 or
learning,
3.
and I was learning the peppery, and then wait for it to cool down, and then take the next sip and things like that.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot when it comes to I was a Crown Royal Canadian whiskey. That was the only whiskey that I knew, and I thought all the rest of them were the same way. So when he started introducing rye whiskey, I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
I knew that bourbon was different, and now with your simple majority rye, which I want to talk about after the break here, because I want to get an idea of what that is, and where you come up with that. But it's it's what I love the most about it is there's so much learning that comes with it. Like I'm learning so much more about it. I feel much more refined. I feel much more like I'm an elitist. That's
no, you guys are exposed to the production side as well as the retail side of the business, and I mean, Christy and I still feel, good, bad, or otherwise, you look at somebody like Jimmy Russell, the master distiller from Wild Turkey. He's been doing it for 54 years. He's a true master distiller.
yeah. There's something I
Compared
won't
to
drink
that,
anymore.
I mean, coming from the trades, you have your apprentice and your master. I think it takes a lifetime to become a master of anything. So
yeah.
I
Yeah.
still really consider us still.
We're distillers.
We're distillers,
Period.
but we
Right.
don't refer to ourselves as master distillers. we're primary distillery.
You're on the right path.
You're on the right path.
You're on the right path.
Give it 20 years.
20 more years.
I'll let you be called
Hopefully I'll
master
still have
distiller.
hair.
Speaking of which, I want to take a break, and then I want to come back. I want to ask about the creative process. I want to talk about your creative process and where you come up with some of the stuff that you come up with and some of the creative process that you guys have. But hey, you know what? We're going to get a word from our sponsor, Revelton Distilling Company, and Dan Douglas at Greenberry Realty, and we'll be back in a couple minutes here. So.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa born, Iowa aged, Iowa bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
When energy meets precision, anything is possible.
I'm Carter Hawley, the Chief Energy Officer of the Iowa State Cyclones. I'm full of energy on and off the court, but nothing gives me more energy than helping families find their dream home. And that's where Green Beret Realty comes in. They're more than just realtors. They're a team dedicated to getting things right for you and your family, just like we get it right on the court.
No basket. That was on the floor before the shot. Out of bounds.
Come on! Can you believe that? You can't take that away from me.
That call was absolutely terrible. Are you guys cautiously trying to be this bad? I mean, does your mom not love you?
Have you seen how old my partner is? My back hurts already from carrying him all night. And I've heard enough out of you. So you're gone.
Fine.
Jim, are you blind? Basket's good. We've got a three-pointer. Sometimes it takes a team to get the call right. And when you're buying a home, you want a team that makes all the right calls. That is Green Beret Realty. And here's the best part. When you buy or sell a home through Dan at Green Beret Realty and mention this ad, he'll make a donation to the We Will Collective, helping student athletes like me thrive on and off the court.
That call's so easy, even we can make it.
Green Beret Realty, because getting the call right means everything.
All right, and we're back, and I really want to thank our sponsors, obviously Dan at Greenberry Realty, but every chance I get to come down here, I get to tell Rob and Christy how much their support means to me and Three Beers Media, be able to give a voice to a lot of different people and a lot of different views. I'm just so damn proud of you guys and all the work that you guys do and all the success you have.
We are of you too, Chris.
I tend to sometimes I know those guys. You know what I mean? So I drop your name every once in a while just to get into bars and places like that.
I'm not sure that gets
I'm
you
friends.
anywhere.
Drop Christy's name more than me.
Yeah, well, that's
Only
a given.
if you need like
That's
a
given.
faster consult, maybe.
That's a given.
So.
Yeah. So before we took the break, I wanted to talk about just concepts and ideas and creative concepts and whatever. I work in marketing, so every day I'm constantly churning different ideas of how to get engagement or how to get reputation up for the company that I work for or stuff that I do for Three Beards Media. But there are times where I'll sit there and I'll go, God, I got a podcast tomorrow. I don't even know what to ask. I don't even know what to talk about. So for you, you're doing what, one every couple days or something like that? So
yeah.
I mean,
3 a week or so.
Where does that come? Where do you get the energy for it, or where do you come up with the creativeness to go? Okay, this is what I'm going to do today, or is it completely pulling out of your ass?
No. Well, at first it kind of was, and every once in a while. But I would say 95% of the drinks that I do, people send to me.
Okay.
Direct message through Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok.
All right.
I am
Until
not
Monday. And then it's just Facebook and Instagram.
I hope not.
I hope not either.
But
Trump will save us. Oh, there. That's the first time I'll ever say that.
okay.
All right, moving along.
Let's get it.
Yeah, it's almost all my followers or whatever, people come in and say, hey, try this, try that, try this. Like, okay, sure. And at first I was like, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad or whatever. But now I can look at it, it's like, oh, it's got Malort in it, or it's got whatever, Jaeger in it.
And absinthe.
It's got absinthe in it. It's going to be terrible.
It's the
But
triple negative.
those are the most viewed or the most popular. So
Sure.
okay, I'll do it.
Right.
But I'm not creative. I'm really not.
You're a liar.
No, I'm not.
No, but what you have
I'm
is
authentic.
Yeah,
maybe.
authentic.
How's
You've
that?
got a great attitude of I'm willing to try.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's the
absolutely.
most
Yeah.
important thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not so much I came up with a brand new idea. I don't know that I've come up with any brilliant ideas of a brand new thing. Just willing to try new stuff.
Yeah.
Or just willing to take something. You take a recipe and switch it a little bit. Fail often, fail fast,
Right,
right?
yep.
So you say, I'll take this and I'll put something else in it. Let's just switch this up a little bit, and suddenly you've got something new and different.
Yeah.
Fail often, fail fast. That's my motto.
That's right.
Yeah, that's my.
Fail often, fail fast.
Yeah. I haven't quite got the second part of that. Yeah. Excel.
No, but then that's where the creativity comes
Yeah.
out. Allow yourself to try something. The worst that's going to happen is you go, okay, I pitched 5 ounces of booze. You go,
Right.
I mean, not that that's great, but you're like, oh, okay, not so much. But in the quest to find something cool and new and different,
Yeah.
you got to be willing. You got to be willing to try something that might not be perfect.
The fear of failing, I think, just halts people so much from trying anything. And I go back to this a lot whenever we talk about this, and whenever we talk about this in the pod, is when 7 years ago, when that cancer diagnosis came in or whatever else, I just remember going, I just don't want to live my life in fear anymore. Like, I don't want to be afraid to try things. You know what I mean? Whether it's getting on and doing a podcast, or the job that I went to last year and I applied for the job. Like, that job was a job I'd never done in my entire life. And I just remember sitting there and going, fuck it, I'm applying for it. I can do that job. And 12 months later, I'm killing it. And I'm not saying that braggadociously. The people that I work with are telling me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's validation. And I just will not live in a time where I just feel like I'm afraid to try anything anymore. To your point, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to look like an idiot? Well, guess what? I'm 54 years old. Shit, that's piling up.
That's the beauty of America. I mean, we don't live in North Korea or Russia, to where if we fuck up, you're
Right.
shot in the head,
Right.
you're taken to the gulag.
Yep.
That's the great thing about America, whether it's under Trump or Biden or whoever else.
Right.
I mean, we still
You have that opportunity.
We still have
though.
the
That's
opportunity.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
10
absolutely.
years ago, I was in a dead-end job going absolutely nowhere. I enjoyed my job, but I wasn't going anywhere. And Amanda and I sat down, and it's like, I got to do something. This isn't, I don't have this. I'm to the point where, I'm not going to live forever. I need to do something with my life. I'm 35 years old, time to grow up. But I took a leap.
Seems like an overrated idea.
I was scared to death. I was absolutely scared to death, and I never really took any risks in my professional career. I did the easy thing. Do something easy. Don't take any risks
Safe.
because you're too safe.
Safe.
Right. But she talked me into it. Hey, quit this job. Go be a first-year apprentice in the plumbers and steam fitters. So, shout out to Local 33. But do something, because the upside is way better than what you're at now.
Yeah.
Get through the first couple of years and it's just, you're good.
Yeah.
I took a $9 an hour pay cut to do something, and that's big at 37 years
Yes,
old
absolutely.
with a kid in junior high and high school, and it's like, oh my Lord.
Right.
But you look at that and it's like, you know what? You succeed at this, and then you just showed your kid. Hey, take that risk.
Yep.
Totally change careers at 37 and just shoot up. That's.
And the advice that you're giving your kids, you've lived it, right?
Yeah.
Like I could tell my kid all the time, well, don't be afraid to do that. And here I am over here sitting in my shell afraid to make the same decisions.
Yeah.
I can't look at my kid and give them that type of advice and be a hypocrite. I just can't do that.
It's really okay to have big goals and to go for them.
Yeah.
But then you got to go for it. then you got to show up and then you got to go for it. And that's where the little bit of, you don't want to say no fear because we all have fear.
Sure.
But it's doing it despite the fear, right?
Right.
So fear to show up, you go ahead and show up and say, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm going to quote Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. I told my son, it's like, Garrett, it's not worth doing unless it's hard. Or everything. What was the quote? What did I say? It sounded so eloquent when I said it the first time.
It's probably after that Malort. You were probably
right.
Anything worth doing is hard.
That's right.
Yeah.
So do it.
That's right.
So do it.
Never
take the easy way.
My dad's favorite quote, and I say it to my kids, and it drives them nuts, is the easy thing isn't always the right thing to do, and the right thing isn't always easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've tried to live by that a lot.
Yep.
So
I also tell my son, the older you get, the smarter I'm going to be.
that's right. Yes, absolutely.
The older you, because my mom told me that.
Yep.
Jason, you don't know it, but the older you get, the smarter I'm going to get. And she was right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's about
My
right.
sisters used to get pissed because I would never get in a lot of trouble. Because
That's bullshit. That's total
No,
bullshit.
he,
never
listen,
got caught.
he was well behaved.
He was not. You
Yes,
didn't
he
have study
was.
hall with him sophomore year of high school.
Hey, I thought we were talking about that.
Oh, no, we weren't. No, sorry. It's the whiskey talking. I'm gonna drink more
I've
water.
known him
you
since
drink some more
junior
water.
high, and
Right.
He was a nice kid.
I was. So I've totally lost track of what I
I'm
was
so
going to say.
sorry.
Yeah, way to go, Rob.
Sorry, I can't see your face because of the halo over your
That's
head.
right.
now.
Yes, but fuck, it's gone. Never mind.
I
need more whiskey.
Here we are,
I need more
everyone.
whiskey. That's what I
I
need.
was pure as the wind driven.
Oh my God! You know what's the problem? I knew I was going down the wrong
It's
track.
getting deep.
I knew I was going down a bullshit
You're
track.
gonna drown. Get up and out.
I knew I was going through a bullshit track. It was just not going to happen.
God.
That's what happened.
See what you got into, Jason.
All right, so this is the portion of the show where we pull up the wheel of questions. Okay, so now that we have 3 guests, we're going to do 3 wheels of questions here. So this
All right.
spinner that I have will spin and give an automatic spin, and it's going to ask either a good funny question or a serious question or whatever. Sponsored
what
by.
if we don't do funny?
I know, right?
Some of us aren't known for being
I know,
funny.
right? This is sponsored by.
We joke at home that with Christy sometimes we call it ha ha ha, you're dead to me.
Right. So
She's German Irish, so you
So-
know it's like.
So to make it easy, you guys are all going to get the same question.
Okay.
Oh,
But this is-
that's no good.
Okay.
This is sponsored by Kyle Lehman at Wintrust Mortgage. So I'm going to spin this wheel.
All right.
I'll give you the question. We'll play the ad from Kyle, and then we'll come back and we'll get your answers. Okay.
There we
So
go.
here we go. Spin the wheel, and the question is.
I'm terrified.
I'm a little bit too.
I'm going first.
No fear.
I'm doing this with my spouse.
Number 7. You are on a magical island where everything is perfect and always done to perfection.
Ooh.
What is the food and drink of your choice to eat every day that's cooked perfectly, made perfectly?
Easy.
It can never be incorrect, but you have to eat it every day. Okay?
No
So that's
problem.
your question. Think about the answer. We'll get a word from Kyle Lehman, and then we'll come back with your answer.
Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing your home, or if it's simply time to renovate the one you're already living in, you need an experienced mortgage professional to help you analyze your financing options and to make sure the closing goes smoothly. And that's exactly what you get when you call Kyle Lehman at Wintrust Mortgage. Kyle's experience and expertise, coupled with Wintrust's rates and programs, ensures you'll get the mortgage that's right for you. You may even qualify for down payment assistance. Before you reach out to a realtor, call Kyle and get pre-qualified, empowering you to start shopping for the home of your dreams. Call Kyle at 515-473-0546. Kyle Lehman Wintrust Mortgage, 515-473-0546.
All right. We're back. So the question was, you're on a magical island where everything is perfect and always done to perfection. What is the food and drink of your choice that you get to eat every day?
Okay. This is going to be a 20-ounce ribeye,
Okay.
medium, with some of that, what's that Irish butter? You know what I'm talking about?
Kerrygold.
Kerrygold? Yes.
Yeah.
A
I
little
don't know,
pad.
you pissed off all the Irish people
Right,
earlier.
I did.
We don't like Scottish butter. We only like Irish butter
It's
on this
that,
podcast.
it's the Kerrygold
Kerrygold
Irish with a
is what
pad of
you
that
said. Yeah.
Irish butter on top.
Yeah.
inch and a half thick steak. Heavy salt, heavy pepper. 5 minutes on one side, 5 minutes on the other. Let it sit for 10 minutes. A little bit of butter on top. Loaded baked potato. The Outback Steakhouse baked potato is fantastic because they roll that thing in salt. I
Makes
want
your hands swell. You got to make.
Oh yeah,
your
right.
wedding ring
Don't
off
wear
before
your
you eat it.
rings.
Yep.
I want cheese, sour cream, butter, salt, pepper, chives, bacon, all up in that baked potato.
Can I give
And
you a
then-
statin with that?
Dude. And you
I
need to
gained
decide
5 pounds listening to this whole
clear.
thing.
Right. And then to drink
But
a
it
nice
came good.
big glass of ice water because that's all I drink when I eat. Just ice water. I don't-
Really?
Yeah. I drink an energy drink for breakfast and then nothing but water after that.
Wow.
And then when I do my videos, that's when I drink. And then other than that, I don't really drink a whole lot.
Huh.
But anyway, for dessert, Famous Dave's Barbecue.
You're on a deserted island. Famous Dave's can't get to you, dude.
That's a
The-
perfect. It's
No,
a magical
that's
island.
Magical
Oh, it's a
Island.
magical island.
It's a magical.
Magical Island.
Wait, hold on.
Famous-
I'm gonna have to redo my answer.
Famous
Chris will have to
Dave's.
go next. Rob's got to reset.
Oh, yeah.
Famous Dave's had some bread pudding that was
Oh my God,
absolutely
I love bread
phenomenal
pudding.
with some ice cream.
God, I love bread
Oh,
pudding.
yes. I'm going to be 430 pounds
So what
within
you're
a matter
saying
of
is,
weeks.
so
But-
what you're saying is you're only going to live on that island for about 21 days.
But I'm going to love it. It's going to be the
Yeah,
best
he's got
21
like
days
It's
of
a
three
my
magical
life.
island. He can
It's a
wish all that.
magical-
That's
That's
right.
right.
It's magical. Yes. That's
okay.
what I want.
All right, Rob.
Pass.
All right, Christy, you're up.
Pass. Oh. All right. In the morning, I'm simple. I want cappuccino, well sugared, cappuccino, nice fluffy foam, and a croissant that has to be perfectly cooked. I mean, it's just you can't be too bready, you can't be too fluffy, you can't be too greasy, but cappuccino croissant every day for breakfast, and I'm a happy person. And then at dinner, we're not too far. I want a good steak. I would take it somewhere between. I could do a ribeye or fillet, either way. But I want it rare. No char. Just like barely cooked either side. Like you got 90 seconds each side.
Just cut it off the cow and give it to her.
Yeah, right.
It's just
Yeah.
wrong with
The
that.
juice out of it first.
Heavily salted, barely charred,
You
and
said no char. It's a magical
well,
island.
no char. Like it's just barely brown on either
Seared
side.
a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's
Man.
almost French
Maybe some
blue.
marks. Yeah. Okay.
Barely.
Okay.
If I can see the marks, we're good. If they're like deep marks, no, it's
Wow,
too much.
okay.
So barely
See the
seared.
pressure I have when we make dinner at home?
Dude, that's a lot of
My
pressure.
grill.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a lot of pressure.
No,
so what
it's
you're
rare,
cooking
medium
yours and then
rare.
hers goes on for at the very last minute. Is that
Somebody
right?
else is cooking her magical meal.
Yeah, and then a baked potato with a lot of butter and chives and a little bit of sour cream, and then I'll probably throw in a good deep tasting red wine with that. I mean, I know I make gin and I love whiskey and I like that, but with a steak, yeah. Every day I could do cappuccino and croissant in the morning, steak and red wine at dinner, and then some form of ice cream. I could have ice cream
you gotta-
at the end of the
yeah.
day.
Any
I-
type of ice cream or any buddy types of? I mean, we are an Iowa.
What's your favorite
Iowa-based-
flavor?
Favorite flavor and favorite kind of ice cream.
It needs to have something in it. So like coconuts or nuts or something. We don't
Coconut
want,
and ice cream.
yeah, or nuts and
actually
pecans,
good.
walnuts.
I like coconut.
Like toasted
Toasted, yeah.
coconut.
Yeah,
No, you lost me.
but like almonds or
I'm out.
pecans or I want something
Ice cream
in
with
it.
Jason. Starting next week, we're sending in
Ice
some
cream with
coconut ice
something in it.
You don't like your ice cream chunky?
No,
You don't like ice cream.
I do.
He does.
Cookies and
Simple
cream.
chocolate chip is perfect. for
Chocolate
me.
chip?
Chocolate chip
Chocolate
is
chip, but see,
perfect. for me.
there's the crunch.
Yes,
I need
the
a
Rocky
little bit
Road
of
in
there,
texture.
yep,
Rocky
yep.
Road's great.
You
Rocky
need
Road's
texture.
I need texture.
Yeah.
So
Luckily,
ice
you're
cream
married
with
to me.
texture.
That's a lot of texture.
We like the
There
texture.
we
go. Lot of
Yeah, there
A
we
lot
go.
of texture.
That's more marshmallow, my friend. Sorry, you laid that softball
Yeah,
out there,
you
my
laid
friend.
that right up, man.
I had to hit it.
All right, you're up.
All right,
Taylor.
you're up, Rob.
Well, it's a magical island, right?
Yes.
I can
Anything
have-
you
I can
want.
have anything.
That's
Anything
correct.
you want.
Yes.
Not that though. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, go
Anything
ahead.
but that.
Anything but
Right.
that.
That's more along the lines of who serves me my dinner.
Oh,
Not the
okay.
dinner itself.
All right.
Which is who?
My wife, of course.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good.
I lobbed you up a softball, and we're even now.
Yeah, way to go, Chris.
3 terms in the evil legislature, and you don't end up with a pedigree of knowing what to say and not to say without going through that. Well, look, I grew up on a farm in southern Iowa here. I really like a good Iowa pork chop. I could eat that every day.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
Pork
Nothing
chop.
against steak. I love steak too, but pork chops are that Iowa chop, nice inch and a half thick. You know, but the pork of 20 years ago, not the pork of today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
The pork of today, nothing against it, but it's so lean that it's really hard to cook, and you need some of that fat for a nice for just that nice glaze.
Cut the fat, cut the flavor.
Yep. So on my magical island, I'd have a magical pork chop every day, and that could be eaten for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
It's not or, it's and. Breakfast and lunch.
It's a magical island. I get three a day.
Yes,
three
absolutely.
meals.
As much as you'd like.
Yeah. I'm right there with you with the baked potatoes. With that salt on those nice baked potatoes. Oh yeah, I could definitely do that. But I'm a potatoes and gravy guy. I actually like. Okay, I'm going to change my answer. Breakfast.
Oh, good Lord.
We only got so much
Way to
time.
go, man.
Breakfast.
Thank you.
You have a breakfast drink? Because I'm
French
going to
toast.
need one.
French toast?
French toast.
French toast.
From the family table here in Osceola.
No.
No.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. They got great French toast. It's like thick.
The family
It's
table
French.
20 years ago, yes.
Okay. All right.
Not the family table of today.
Fair enough.
That's okay. But yeah.
No new sponsors there.
No.
That's right. I was just gonna stop down there too. They screwed me out of that.
I mean, should I just what the?
I mean, local support local, but whatever. You do you.
At the family table, you'd be surprised what you see down below. So, French toast in the morning, absolutely. And here's another one. If you've never tried it before, my very favorite breakfast: waffles.
Oh no! Don't do it,
I'm
man!
gonna say
Don't do
it.
it! Don't do it! Don't do it!
I'm gonna
Just
say
don't
it.
do it! Oh no!
Waffles, cheese whiz,
Oh,
and
We
maple
got to
syrup.
end. I'm
Dude,
sorry,
you gotta
sir.
try
The
it.
show's over.
No, man.
I'm like, don't say
Don't
it.
knock
Just
it till
don't
you
do
try it.
I've heard
Breakfast
him
with
say this
Jason
before.
starting next week.
What the
I
hell's
just tried to
wrong
do
with
something.
you?
I
Telling
know.
you.
I
Cheese
tried to
whiz?
say,
Cheese
don't
whiz.
say it.
Cheese whiz on waffles with maple syrup,
It's not
dude.
good.
Are you
No.
pregnant? I mean,
God,
you
I-
look pregnant.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. Now, I will preface by saying the first time I told somebody to put peanut butter on pancakes,
Yep.
I got the same
That's
look.
fantastic. No,
But
peanut butter on
mine
pancakes
is fantastic.
That's awesome.
That's a little weird.
You have to try it because it's
No,
the
it's
salty.
not okay.
Listen, these are you
It's
guys.
not
You're
okay.
talking about these baked potatoes rolled in salt that make your hands swell. If you want that first thing in the morning, waffles.
Well, not the baked
cheese
potato
whiz.
in the morning, just the
With a
steak.
hint of kerosene.
Not the Tostitos stuff. That's crap. Cheese whiz and maple syrup.
No, don't
Real
do
maple
it.
syrup.
No, actually, you
The
should.
real
Yeah.
cheese whiz,
You
not
know-
the fake stuff.
Not the fake stuff.
Not the fake stuff, right?
That was the best thing ever. Real cheese whiz, not fake stuff. Best ever.
I'm gonna be on my own magical island.
It's
coming
my
out.
It's my island.
It's my island.
God.
I'll eat cheese whiz when I want to.
I just brought cheese whiz to the magical island.
You guys are gonna be walking down the Hy-Vee aisle next week, and you're gonna walk past. You're gonna see cheese
You know,
whiz.
I'm just crazy enough. I'm going to try it.
I'm not.
I'm
no,
just crazy
no.
enough. I'm going
It's
to try
crazy.
it.
Would you please text me after you try that?
I will. I will.
you.
I would, but I don't like trying new things.
Fine. You know
You have
what?
a limit. You have the
You know what?
reached
Cheese
the
whiz on
limit.
waffles
On
is
my
just over the
Instagram
line.
next week, I'm gonna have a request for you, and it is gonna be waffles, cheese whiz, maple syrup, and a shot of bourbon.
Do you,
So,
you know what I do for a living, right?
All right.
I mean, I'm
I'm
just
done
saying
with
you've
my
like gone
magical island.
over
So
the edge.
somebody
You've
asked
gone
why.
over the edge.
Somebody asked why there was no whiskey and cream liqueur for dessert.
I hadn't got to dessert yet. I was still at breakfast, and you guys were
I
blabbing me and giving me shit
I
because of my
wasn't,
cheese
mentioning,
whiz.
I wasn't mentioning alcohol at all. I'm just
That's
assuming
right.
No.
that's free
Hell.
flowing in the magical island.
Absolutely, Magical Island, the Revelton is just free flowing.
everywhere.
That's right.
You want a great dessert cocktail, though, is the
No cheese whiz.
no cheese whiz,
No.
absolutely not, is the mulberry gin, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. This is legit. The mulberry gin and Revelton cream.
The whiskey and
Okay.
over ice
So
is absolutely
that's
fantastic.
like the
More cream than
chocolate-covered.
mulberry.
That's like that chocolate
mean, it's
covered. You
not
called
like-
it
Yeah.
like a chocolate-covered
Chocolate-covered cherry.
We call
Okay.
it
Chocolate-covered berries.
berry here. I
Okay,
think.
Yeah.
so I saw that video.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Wife and I have
it's good.
Wife and I have the ambulance that
really
we take up to
Yeah.
the tailgate.
Yep.
She bought on Amazon these little. They're like plasma bags.
Yeah.
That we fill with mixed drinks.
Yep.
Okay.
And that weekend I filled them with whiskey cream liqueur and mulberry gin.
Yeah, and you
And
just
dude,
injected it right in your.
And we had these
Oh,
little
maybe
syringes
not.
that we
No,
would
because then
fill
you
the
bypass the
syringes.
enjoyment
Oh, there we
center.
go.
We
Yeah.
would fill the syringes and then give people these shots, right? Dude, the people were crazy. It was so good, and I was like, I'm totally gonna try
It's
this. So
fantastic.
that came from your idea.
Yeah.
Christy and I went to.
Not my idea, it was Christie's.
Yeah, it's definitely all Christy's
Yeah.
ideas. I'm just the rodeo clown.
For
Our
sure, with that
husband,
damn
Sean
cheese
helped.
whiz.
Sean helped a lot. Sean
You
gets
guys
credit
just
now.
make you. Fuck you guys. You guys need to try it, man.
No, I don't need to do
telling you,
shit.
you're gonna take one
Oh
bite and
my
you're gonna
God.
go, what has he
No,
done
you're
to me?
not. No, you're not. He's wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Have you ever
Deb
had peaches
Kitchener
and Oreo
said,
cookies?
I've sold a lot of mulberry gin. Customers love it as a mule. So there you go.
Yeah, the mulberry gin is
There you go.
fantastic
Yes.
too.
So thank you, Deb, very much. All right, we're on our last segment. This seems right up your alley, Rob. This segment is the Shut the Fuck Up segment.
Oh.
So this is the STFU segment that we have. This is obviously deriving from a podcast guest that we had several years ago named Steph Copley, who jokingly told my former host to shut the fuck up because he wouldn't shut up.
Yep.
And it was the greatest thing I had ever heard in my entire life. So we decided to make it a sponsored segment. So we asked you guys to go donate to the Young Women's Resource Center in honor of Steph Copley. They do amazing things out there. This is one of the things that Three Beards Media does, is just try to bring back and do some charity work. So the way this segment works, Jason, is we're going to play this segment. We'll get a word from Steph about donating to the Young Women's Resource Center, and then I, as the host, have to shut the fuck up. And you're allowed to say whatever you want, and I cannot react. I can't comment or anything else.
So I have to figure something out to say here in about 30 seconds. That's
45
great.
seconds, that's right.
We're supposed to be all, what's the word I'm looking for?
Controversial. No, I'm just kidding. All right,
I don't know how to
here
do
we go.
that.
Hey everybody, it's Steph Copley, the woman behind the STFU segment on the Old Man Strength podcast. When I told the guys I wanted to sponsor this segment, they recommended that I make a charitable donation instead, so that's what I did. I chose the Young Women's Resource Center in Des Moines, Iowa. They're a nonprofit that supports, educates, and advocates for girls and young women ages 10 to 24. Their whole goal is to make sure that these young women become strong, self-confident, and successful. And if you know me at all, you know that aligns with my goals as well. If you're interested and would like to donate, check them out at ywrc.org and donate today. And remember, don't forget to STFU and listen every once in a while. Thanks.
All right, and we're back.
the
I hope you guys
politician. You need to go
check
first.
out Young Women's Resource Center, donate to them. They do amazing things. We actually did a fundraiser here in December of last year here at Revelton.
Yeah.
Raised $1,500 for those guys, so that was super exciting to do. All right, I will now STFU, and the floor is, we'll start with Christy.
Ladies first.
Ladies first, we're gentlemen.
Nice. All right, so I'll just take it. Surgeon General just came out and said that there's no amount of alcohol that's safe.
Total
So,
bullshit.
No, not unexpected. Everything in life, if you do it too extreme, has a downside. So
Marriages?
I mean,
I
no,
have one.
no.
But you can never do that too much. You can't.
Moving on.
Sorry, I'm going to break the rules. He's right. I'm just saying he's right. Could you bring my wife over and
I'm
let her
sitting
know?
with three men. That aside. Point being,
I'd rather do it with you than without you. It's
Most
just-
things in life
But either way, it's going
are
to get done.
fine in
Yeah,
moderation. But no, I'm getting asked
sorry.
this a lot in terms of, what do you think of that? You know what? It's okay to say if you do things in extreme and you do things to large amounts, that's bad. Sure it is. We agree. Don't drink alcohol to excess. We're not here for volume. Drink a little bit of what you really like.
Yes.
And then call it good. Have a little bit of what you really enjoy and then call it good.
Robert?
Are we calling it good tonight?
Anyway,
Yeah, she's going to have a little bit.
I have a strong
Calling it
message.
good. Oh, I'm sorry.
Stopping to pick up some Cheese Whiz on the way home.
Never mind. She's not going to have a little bit.
I am.
Sorry.
She's not gonna have anything. There's Cheese Whiz. What the hell?
She's lactose intolerant all of a sudden.
Oh, there's so many jokes I can't
So
say.
many jokes. It hurts
So many
my
jokes I
head.
can't say.
No, but Christy's, like, shut the hell up is, I've been asked probably 50, 60 times in the last probably 72 hours about, what do you think about this? I'm like, one, actually, it's not surprising. We actually know that in excess, there are things that are bad for you. Please don't do to excess. We really think, enjoy a little bit of what you really love in life, and enjoy a little bit. You're not
Enjoy
looking for
life.
volume.
Enjoy life. Yes.
Yes, make a choice, enjoy life, and don't go to excess on anything.
Rob?
RFK is about ready to be one of the individuals nominated by the Trump administration to oversee all things healthcare. For the love of God. This guy has admitted that he has a worm in his head, and he's about ready to be nominated to run one of our largest, most valuable entities all over healthcare and gosh, help me out, Christy. Department of Human Services, CMS. What the fuck? Sometimes I feel like I'm in an alternate reality, and not to bring the tone down, but I'm very concerned about that. I think we're in a world right now where leadership matters, and I think that people like the four of us at this table need now more than ever before to sit down and figure out the things that we agree upon and not argue about the stuff that we disagree upon. Because it's going to take people with diverse interests and that find some commonality on things like whiskey or you name it, to bring some unity to the country, because it's going to be a crazy time in the next 2 or 3 years. So what the fuck?
Drink to that.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. The days of civil conversation by two parties that are on opposite sides of the aisle is gone, and that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
By the way, that's the true definition of a friendship. You know, proudly call somebody a friend when you can have sometimes knock down, drag out disagreements and fights, maybe even call each other names. But at the end of the day, you have the foundation of, pretty much no matter what I do, that person's still my friend.
Yeah.
We got to get back to that.
Yeah. And I think as a whole, I shouldn't say this, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Is that, I don't know the phrase.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
That's
yeah.
it.
So I think the loud people on both sides of the aisle get way more attention than us people there in the center just trying to live our lives and make our lives better.
And, who,
that's the problem.
And who, by the way, feels like the people in politics don't represent them.
Right. Yes.
Because they don't.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Sorry, not to bring the tone down.
No, that's
serious.
what this segment's about.
Yeah,
I mean, you took it right off the wheels of that whole Cheese Whiz thing. So
I mean, you
I
did
appreciate
kinda
you
say
bringing
shut
it
the
back
fuck
to
up.
more that. That's how crazy that was. Is that little speech brought us back to the center. That's how
Right.
crazy the
Yep.
Cheese Whiz was.
Yeah.
As long as RFK doesn't get
Ban
rid of
Cheese Whiz.
ban Cheese Whiz, I'm all good.
Just don't ban Cheese Whiz and life is okay.
Don't ban Cheese Whiz, and Rob ain't gonna go off the rails
Good
here.
Lord.
Hey, Jason, it's you.
So word out on the street is that TikTok's leaving January 19th.
Yep.
I hope that doesn't happen because
Me too.
that's a big release for a lot of people. That's where a lot of my videos go on, so I have a stake in this. But it seems kind of silly, and now I don't know anything about the insides of anything. I'm not a smart guy when it comes to politics or all that sort of stuff.
Neither am I.
But, it's pretty evident.
That actually makes you smart.
But I think it's kind of silly, and the way I see it is, and I could be way off, but this is my opinion. TikTok's being taken away, or they want to ban TikTok because they don't have a say in what's going on in TikTok, or they don't. When I say they, I mean the government. They've got their hands in Instagram, and they've got their hands in Facebook, and they've got access to all that information because it was given to them.
Sure.
Is TikTok granting the U.S. government that sort of information? I don't know. The way I see it is no, and that's why it's being pushed away. And we're being told that, hey, the Chinese government has access to your information because it's owned by this Chinese company, or partially owned by this Chinese company, and they need to sell it to an American company, so the Chinese don't have their information. Well, now I don't know, and maybe I'm talking off the rails here, but I mean, this is my segment. The U.S. government has way too much oversight on the standard, normal, common person.
Yep.
Thought we had free speech, right?
I mean, we do, unless we don't.
They certainly. That's what, they meaning the whole concept the last few years has been the right to free speech and not to limit free speech. And you're taking away an app that common people are making a lot of money off of their speech.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they want to ban it.
Right.
Yeah, there's some security issues with TikTok that
the
Chinese government has fully taken advantage of. But at the end of the day, it's one of our core fundamentals as Americans is at least the perception that we have freedom of speech.
And the freedom to choose.
It's more than the perception.
And the
it's that
freedom
we
to
have
choose.
Freedom
But in
of
some
speech.
cases we don't, because I mean, the reality of our right for freedom of speech is we have the right to say stupid things.
Yes.
But
there's consequences.
But there's
for
consequences.
those,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But you're assuming that risk is an individual.
But as a former,
You're saying, I'm going to say something stupid and I'm going
Right.
to look stupid, but I'm okay with looking stupid in
Right.
front of whoever I'm speaking to.
But as a former elected official, the thing that I see some of my fellow colleagues doing today, both at the state and the federal level, is that they don't like what somebody has to say or what they think. They try and ban it.
Yeah.
Or they censor it.
Or
And that
cancel
is,
it.
the idea of freedom of speech is defending people's right to say stupid things.
Right.
I mean,
Even when you don't
Even when
agree
you don't
with
agree
it.
with
it. Yeah.
Right.
And I think we live in a world right now where if you don't agree with me, number one, you're my enemy. And if you have any power
Right.
at all, especially in the political world, it is to censor or censure that individual or that organization and make them pay the price for not agreeing with you. And that is not
That's
the
not
American
what
way.
America is.
No.
I will just say this, that as far as the Chinese government goes and learning things off of TikTok and whatever else, I will bet you $20 that when I log off this thing and I look at my phone, there'll be a Cheese Whiz ad in about 15 fucking
On all of our phones.
on all of
Yes,
our phones.
yes,
So
yes.
if they're really concerned about the Chinese getting information, you don't seem to have a problem having a Chinese product in your hand every single day using it for data.
And by the way, the feed that you'll get that information on is on Facebook and on Instagram. It won't come out. It won't come out on TikTok.
I really want to know if you get reached out to by the Cheese Whiz people.
I'll tell you right now, I'll sign a Cheese
We
Whiz
will
deal.
call it the Cheese Whiz conspiracy.
I don't like Cheese Whiz, but if they're gonna throw me some
Cheese
cash,
Whiz right now. If
I'll
you
eat Cheese
sponsor
Whiz.
Three
I
Beards
kind of want to
Media,
know what happens after this.
we'll make a Cheese Whiz like
I will
sponsored.
bathe. I will bathe in Cheese Whiz. right here.
No.
I will bathe in Cheese Whiz. I will get in a hot tub.
I love Cheese Whiz.
He will
Filled with Cheese Whiz.
He will make waffles.
And then Rob is going to eat that Cheese Whiz.
He will make waffles. He will make
That's all
waffles.
different kind of video.
He'll make
That's what one of us are
He'll
qualified
make
for.
waffles and a Cheese Whiz suit. That's
Do you
what he'll
remember
do.
when I said you do moderation and not excess? I think you've crossed a line.
But I think that's what Rob was talking about, though. You can never have too much Cheese Whiz, is what you were talking
Not on
about.
my magic island, you can't. You guys can eat your steak and whatever. I'm just going to have waffles and cheese. I never even got to dessert. I still didn't get the dessert.
Okay, so we've got some comments that I have to read here.
Right. Of course we have some comments.
Great to see Rob and Christy and Revelton Rocks. You all are hysterical and then really enjoy Drinks with Jason. And apparently Ben Nip says, is there any extra room in the Cheese Whiz tub?
Oh, dear God.
The more the merrier.
Oh, my God.
You can take my spot.
It's going to be hot tub time machine.
You may
It's
have
gonna be
my
Cheese Whiz.
spot.
And the one where the hot tub is, the more liquidy
Nothing
it is.
says a party like Cheese
You
Whiz.
can take my spot.
Shipley has got a certain demographic of people that want to see you in the Cheese Whiz hot
I do.
tub.
And the
Not
audience,
us.
the audience of one is asking for you in the Cheese Whiz.
gee
Yes.
whiz.
What would it take to
I'm
get
sorry.
Christy?
That's right.
And the
How much
Cheese Whiz
money
hot
can
tub.
we raise for the Young Women's Resource Center?
There we go! There we go! Let's go!
I'm going to go out on a limb. You don't have that much money.
Well, somebody in this audience
Somebody does. Somebody does.
Somebody said.
Now, that said,
Cheese Whiz
I
time machine.
strongly support the Young Women's Resource Center. I mean, there is
Enough to be in a hot tub full of cheese.
Christy will make a donation not to be in the hot cheese.
Christy might make a donation not to be in the
Not
Cheese
to
Whiz
be.
hot tub.
Oh my God.
A large donation.
Yeah, you're going to be
Large
the talk of the town tonight, buddy.
All right, so let's wrap up here. Rob and Chris, let's start with you. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find Revelton other than at 1400 West Clay Street in Osceola, Iowa?
Well, the great thing is that we are distributed deeply across Iowa. So your Fairway, your Hy-Vee, your wall-to-wall liquor, your local stores.
Costco.
Costco.
That's when I knew my friends made it.
Yeah, right.
I can get a hot dog and a mulberry gin.
Holy cow. And if you know what, and if you go somewhere that's your regular place and we're not there, for the love of God, ask them to bring it in because they can and they will. But all across Iowa, we're there, and then Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas.
And there's all kinds of independent liquor stores, not only across Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri, but there's all over Iowa. We had a gentleman, and I won't name him tonight, but has
Tell me later, I'll name him.
a little liquor store in Ames. He's a Cyclone guy.
Yeah.
And he has a liquor store in Ames. And he came down on Mondays. We always have a trade tour day. So if anybody's in the industry, they come down and they can spend the day with me. So he came down from Ames, and he walked in with the premise of, I love your mulberry gin, was what he said. But he walked in with the premise, I don't like your bourbon. Never tried our bourbon. Because it was less than 4 years old. And 3 hours later, it was a life-changing event for him and I both. And he called me today, and he's like, I've got your bourbon, I've got your rye whiskey, I've got your barrel rest gin. Oh my God. You have opened a whole world to me that is incredible. So, brand new owner of a little liquor store in Ames, and the guy is all over it because in 3 hours, he learned more about me and I learned more about him than either one of us expected. And this is a business of building a relationship.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So-
That's awesome.
And you won't get that with some national.
No.
I hope you get there someday. Don't get me wrong.
I don't wanna get there someday.
Well, okay.
This is
but
important.
You won't
Right.
get that with a Black Velvet or a Tito's, or you're not going to get that. You're going to get that with small craft distilleries and breweries. That
Yep.
relationship,
Yep.
and that's the great thing about local small businesses.
Right.
That relationship. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
And where can they find you, Jason?
Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Drinks with Jason. I've got a big straw cowboy hat on. I'm tipping back a beer, and the koozie got a skeleton flipping you off.
There you go.
Nice.
It's 21 years of age or older, please, and don't do what I do. It's just for fun.
Perfect.
There we go.
Well, thank you guys for another
Disclaimer.
episode of Old Man Strength. Thank you,
Amen.
Christy, Rob, Jason. This has been a lot of fun. I've had a blast.
Great time.
Check out the rest of the content on Three Beards Media Network. We had probably 6 pods this week. We go every week. Hope that you guys are tuning in tonight. We'll stick around and subscribe. Hit that like and follow button. Give us a rating. That helps us out. And I think I'm going to have another drink, and we are out of here.